Wednesday, January 27th. There is the closing bell, guys, with the S&Ps closing down about 100 points. Hold on to your hat because we're hitting turbulence. Breaking the expected move on the week. What's in store going into tomorrow? Let's dive right in, break this market down, and then go over the top stocks of the day. Taking a look at the S&P futures, we trended down for the most part through the night. We didn't start picking things up until about 6:30 when the American markets opened, and then we just tumbled, bouncing off an imaginary not once but twice. Stocks were weak. We couldn't get going, and we eventually rolled on over. We're seeing some buying coming in. Microsoft had some good earnings yesterday. However, one stock isn't enough to keep this market on its back. Now, when we take a look at the SPX, we look at it on the week. We came into this week expecting 73 points. Now, that invisible line was the lower edge of the week, and I said, guys, buy this level with confidence. We bounced off of it once and twice. However, the buying just wasn't there. We were seeing selling across the board, and ultimately, we rolled over. So the question becomes, Facebook, Tesla, and Apple are all reporting after the bell. Are their earnings strong? Is their guidance good? If not, we could potentially see a 2 standard deviation move. Taking a look at it on the daily, we haven't seen an outside move since November, around Thanksgiving week. So we're due for an outside move, and if we do see a 2 standard deviation move, that level is going to put us around 36.95, call it 3,700. That would play a 2 standard deviation move, and that level would be pretty strong support for an initial bounce. Depending how bad everything across the board is, it could roll even more, but 3,700 would play a very sound level of support. Let's cruise on over to the NASDAQ and take a look at the tech stocks. Taking a look at the NASDAQ futures here, they're down 2.67%. Now, futures are still jumbling around here, and I think Facebook and Apple came out at 4 o'clock. We'll see in a second. But for the most part, when we look at it intraday, this was weak. Technology is strong, and it's just down today. So it's going to put a lot of stress on this marketplace. Now, when we compare that to the Big Five, today, the Big Five was down over 3%. So Big Five is going to put stress on the NASDAQ as well as our S&Ps. You can see the S&P's down almost 100 points right there. NASDAQ futures are still selling off here. Now, looking at the bigger picture here, this is a strong index and it's rolling over some big volume. However, we are getting some earnings coming out of Apple. Taking a look at it on an intraday, I don't see much action yet on it. Now, things can change. We look at Facebook. Same goes here. So I don't know what these earnings are going to be, and I believe Tesla comes out at 5:30. So again, my video will be done when these earnings come out. Let's cruise on over to the Russell and see how the small caps did. Taking a look at the Russell, we're down 1.89%. So it was the less banged up index out of all 3 of them. However, it's not looking pretty. We're breaking that range we were in. We look at it intraday. It saw some nice buying. Now, when we compare it to some of our sectors, what led today? Well, the XLE actually had a nice rally. Seeing crude oil up on the day gave the XLE some strength. However, ultimately, everyone went to the selling side. Looking at it on the daily, XLE is hanging in here. But what else was down? Well, technology was down 1.89%, middle of the pack here, with the financials down close to 3%. This is going to tear apart this market at the seams. The financials play a big role in this marketplace, as well as technology and energy, and just about every sector is down across the board. We don't need to talk about communications because that's Facebook and Google in there. So it's like, I just want to talk about the main 3 sectors. Let's cruise on over to the AD line and see how it looked. Taking a look at our advanced decline line, boy, have we not seen this. 10 up and 90 down. It's full blown to the downside, meaning nobody's safe unless you're some heavily shorted stock, but seeing this across the board is not what you want to see. Now, it could change if we see some positive earnings out of Apple and Facebook and Tesla. With Microsoft's good earnings, that could get technology going tomorrow, and if it does, that could balance things out for maybe a flat day. We'll see how that trades. I'll come back to those stocks to see if the earnings are out, but other than that, guys, be very careful right now because this market is well due for a pullback and we're in the midst of it right now. With equities getting taken to the cleaners, how did the bonds do today? Taking a look at the 30-year bond, it's up 0.3%. Not as much as you'd like. However, they're the bonds. They're slow moving. We did have the Federal Reserve come out at 2 o'clock today, but nothing new came out of them. We've expected everything they got to say. They're not raising interest rates anytime soon, and the bonds, for the most part, were unchanged around those minutes at 2 o'clock when the Fed came out. However, look at the TNX. TNX was down over 2.5%, and it's starting to come back down. So the TNX could be on its way back to about the 9.5 range, which is all right to see short term, and we'll see if we get there. But the bonds rallying is going to drive the TNX down, which is going to mean that the equities might be weak in the coming weeks. Let's move on over and take a look at the volatility index. Taking a look at the VIX futures, we are raging up 25% with some big volume coming in here, meaning traders are going out to hedging their portfolios. Now, taking a look at it intraday, the VIX futures were a beautiful trend up through the day. When we look at the VVIX was up 20% about. However, it was pulling back a bit, meaning longer term volatility was being sold. Now, when we look at it on the day, this screams to me that volatility could be slowing down here. You can almost draw a triangle and it nearly connects perfectly just on the eye looking at it, which tells me, yeah, maybe we stick around here for a couple more days, maybe to end the month of January, but I think February, things could mellow out and stock can continue marching higher. However, in order to march higher, we're going to need to see some fiscal stimulus talk here in the coming days to possibly weeks. You know, this market just wants some more injection of capital. $2 more trillion, potentially another 3 with an infrastructure deal. We're going to get it. Janet Yellen just got in there with Powell. They are going to make it happen. It's just a matter of how long do we have to wait. The longer we wait, this market could start to unravel, but I believe the market knows that it's coming, and that's why a lot of these dips get bought in back higher. Let's cruise on over and take a look at our dollar index and see how the commodities did. Taking a look at the dollar index, we see it's up about 0.5% with a nice wick. I don't expect this dollar to just fly high because we're going to be printing money this year. Why is the dollar going to strengthen when we print more of it? It just makes no sense. But if everybody else is printing, the dollar is the best looking person out of a group of ugly people, so it's going to maybe go up. I don't know, but this is going to be interesting to watch in the coming weeks what the dollar wants to do. It's just jumbling around here, this 90.5 level. However, when we look at our commodities, crude oil was green. It's slowly turning over, but we look at it intraday. It did see a nice pop, which got the XLE going. However, that rolled over, ultimately pulling it back down. How did gold and silver trade? We look at gold. Gold down about 0.5%, down $10. Again, gold in a consolidation mode, but, you know, printing more should drive these metals higher, and even silver down about 1%. But ultimately, you know, who knows when that comes. And then we have Bitcoin. Bitcoin down 2%, but I'll tell you what, Bitcoin is a beast, guys. I love Bitcoin, and it just fascinates me. Every day I learn something new about Bitcoin, and it's the future. I'm taking this MIT course. It's a free course on blockchain and money, and it's just blowing my mind reading these readings and listening to some of the lectures. I believe in Bitcoin. Bye. All these dips, and thank me in the future. There you have it for the stock market breakdown. Now, I'm going to flash Apple really fast, and Apple is just getting sold off very hard here as well. Let's look at Facebook. Again, Facebook getting sold very hard here, guys. So prepare for tomorrow, guys. Look for 3,700 to play a role of support. We're already just 25 points away from that in the futures. Potentially could be another 3 standard deviation move. So take 73 times out by 3. Be prepared, guys, because it's going to be another ugly session if we were to open again tomorrow right now. So technology is down over 4% right now. But other than that, let's move on over and take a look at the top stocks of the day. There you have the NASDAQ futures there, but we go over to the scan tab, we hit scan, and we actually have stocks up, but my guess is these are a lot of shorted stocks. Coming in at the number 3 stock of the day goes to Bed Bath & Beyond. Today was up 43% in a sea of red. There were some stocks that were up with a market cap of $6.4 billion. On a year to date, this stock is up close to 200%. Bed Bath & Beyond, who would have known? I can't tell you the last time I went to that store. Well, what does Bed Bath & Beyond do? Well, they're a nationwide chain of retail stores that sell a wide assortment of merchandise, principally including domestic merchandise and home furnishing, as well as a lot of other things. Bed Bath & Beyond. We take a look at it intraday. Finally seeing some selling in the after hours. No, these heavily shorted stocks have just been taking off in the after hours, messing up my plans. Now, when you throw it on an expected move, it's not going to tell us much here, guys. So Bed Bath & Beyond at $2.48 expected move, clearly it's well above that. 9 standard deviations was 52.53, which we came maybe a few dollars over that level. There's no telling you where this stock can go as long as it keeps on being bought up by people on Reddit. The shorts are going to get punished, they're going to have to cover, and it's just going to drive this stock higher. We could throw a Fibonacci on it. Now, I'll throw a quick Fibonacci on this stock and just kind of see what it looks like. And you can just see the 38% Fibonacci would be about $40. So if we do see selling, $40 is a pretty strong level. You can see the $45 is a pretty strong level there. Ultimately, with this market selling off, you'd expect these stocks to sell off with it. However, there's just no telling. Coming in at the number 2 stock of the day goes to GameStop Corporation. Today, GameStop was up 134%. This is like a video game here. With a market cap of $24.2 billion, this was a stock that made the list at $15 a couple weeks ago. It hit as high as $3.80 today. Now, you should know what GameStop does. They're a digital-first omni-channel retailer selling video game and consoles, you name it, in that space. We look at it on the intraday. It's finally tapping out here. Maybe it's not rallying today in the after hours. Now, when we put it on an expected move, guys, GameStop coming in with $12.56, 25 standard deviations, which is just insane. Got rejected around the 25 sigma level. However, you know, there's no telling how much higher this stock can go. If the shorts are finally folding their hands and people take profits, throwing a quick Fibonacci on this one, we can see 240 is a big pivot level as well as 155. The 61 and 38% Fibonacci's are one of the biggest Fibonacci levels. And then we also have 294 playing a nice level. You can see it kind of hugged that 23% fib throughout trading. If we do see selling tomorrow, first levels of 241. And then ultimately the 50% at about 200, and then the pivot point is 155. Coming in at the number 1 stock of the day goes to AMC Entertainment Holdings. Today, AMC was up 300%. I already have the Fibonacci's drawn on this stock. Market cap is $6.7 billion. Now, what does AMC do? Well, they're engaged in theatrical exhibition business. It's licensed first run motion pictures from distributors owned by film production companies from independent distributors. I don't know who's going to a movie theater, and I can't tell you the last time I went to a movie theater, but this is a heavily shorted stock as well as GameStop and Bed Bath & Beyond, and they're just being squeezed out to another level. I've never seen this before. So we have some Fibonacci's on here, but let's take a look at the expected move. So the expected move on this thing was 74 cents. 30 standard deviations is 25.71, which we came 9 cents shy of that in the pre-market, got rejected and never kind of got back to that area. Flirted with the 38% fib for the most of the day, peeled off of that. Look for this 13.31 level ultimately to play the pivot. If we do see some selling, then $11 and then back to $9. But this is a stock that you guys got to be careful. You can make a lot or you can lose a lot. My opinion is just go buy Bitcoin. I'm going to keep pushing Bitcoin because I believe in Bitcoin. But the stock market is turning into a casino, and after seeing, let's see how the markets are looking right now. They're getting a little bit of recovery. VIX futures up 34%, but expect another bloodbath tomorrow, guys. But other than that, guys, but there you have it for the top stocks of the day. Did you get a chance to watch any of these roller coasters? If not, I don't know what else you guys are watching, but other than that, if you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up button. It means a lot when you show some support. And if you're watching me for the first time, show some love and hit that subscribe button. Just takes one click, guys. Just please do it. It makes my day when I see my sub count go up. But just be safe out there, guys. I will be back tomorrow. Maybe we get some real stocks in the top stocks of the day. But other than that, have a good night. Take care. Peace!